I'm finally back with another video, but who are you?
My name's Terry Lundy. If you don't remember me, watch Aaron James's video from Critiquing Christian Cinema for 10 Commandments. But now this time I'm here with Kogan.
Yep.
And
Yep. So, back at the Academy Awards at our Megaplex movie theater that we work at, Terry and I were having a little competition to see who could get the most predictions correct.
Yep.
And he ended up beating me, which means that I am forced into watching and reviewing Batman and Robin. I hope you appreciate what I do for you, Terry.
I do. Thank you very much. I have a cruel sense of humor sometimes.
Yes, you most certainly do. Well, we watched the movie, I got the movie, and I've got my baseball bat here so I can destroy the movie once we're done with this. So I'm ready.
Alrighty.
But yeah, Batman and Robin, I never really thought about ever reviewing this movie or talking about it in any professional way because what can I say that has not been said already? This is just one of the most despised films ever made. It was the fourth installment of the Batman franchise. It completely destroyed the beloved franchise that everybody loved. It nearly killed comic book movies for a long time, and yeah, it's just one of the most hated movies ever made. Anything I can say is just gonna be repeat of everyone else, from Nostalgia Critic to freaking Jonathan Paula to Chris Stuckman to the Flick Pig. I mean, they've all said it, so I mean, here we go. It's just another review, but yeah, no, it's all warranted because this movie is terrible. Where were you when you first saw this movie? Were you did you see it in theaters when it first came out?
No, I was pretty young, maybe around 8 or 9 years old when I first saw this.
Yeah.
We watched it. I think my parents rented it on DVD or something. I mean, like most people growing up in the 90s, I grew up liking Batman. I grew up with the series, and I really liked the first Batman, even though it scared me, but it intrigued me as a little kid. It was one of those things with a dark tone that really got me interested. And when I saw the commercials of this film, and especially, I remember there was one commercial they used to show. It was a Pop-Tarts commercial, and it had a little bit of that Batman and Robin feel to it. So as a kid, I was like really intrigued, and I wanted Mom and Dad to, hey, rent the DVD for Batman and Robin, and I did, and I watched it. And what's sad though is when I first saw it, I actually did like it at the time. It's one of those things where I feel now as I get, it wasn't until I was an adult that I found out this movie is actually really terrible.
Yeah.
And I feel right now that my poor little kid, the way I was thinking, I feel like I was insulted. My intelligence was insulted as a child right now. I can't believe I liked it. Well, I still in some ways like it as a guilty pleasure, but only at a level of making so bad that it's fun to watch.
I always hear people say, "Oh, Batman and Robin is like one of the worst movies ever made."
Yeah.
I don't think I would go that far because I mean, the worst movies ever made are things that are like just insufferable to sit through, where you can't even laugh at the stupidity or the horrificness of it.
Oh yeah.
Batman and Robin at least has that quality where it's like enjoyably bad.
Yeah.
Because you can just, like, okay, you do not die of laughter from just Arnold Schwarzenegger showing up and just being like, the Iceman cometh, like, then you have no sense of humor. Like, there's nothing wrong with you.
Exactly.
And, I don't think it's one of the worst movies ever made. And to be fair, not all of it is terrible, to be completely honest. I mean, it's funny because like the movie opens up and like the first time I saw it, I was like totally thinking it was gonna be like in the same vein of the first Batman movie because like it starts out with this like big dramatic music and the opening credits are really good and the production looks pretty good. And then literally the moment that just completely killed it was, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. This is why Superman works alone. And just like that, it's like, oh, someone just kill me now.
It gets worse right after that. There's even a moment with Alfred saying, "I'll cancel the pizzas." and then much more to it. And then comes Arnie, good old Arnie as Dr. Freeze, and all those ice puns. Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
But
oh god, and the production just keeps getting worse and worse looking. It looks like just this low budget TV show. Actually, you know what? It looks like the '60s Batman TV show.
Oh yeah,
and I just lit up more neon, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another thing. Like, I know that's what they were trying to go for. I mean, Joel Schumacher said he wanted to, like, you know, pay tribute and be like the '60s Batman series, make it more fun, lighthearted, comedic, and you know, it's basically just meant to be a parody of Batman, essentially. Yeah. But here's my thing: it's not intentionally funny, though. That's the problem. It's accidentally funny. And, you know, it's not like so it does not fulfill the accomplishment he was setting to get, is what I'm trying to say. And
well, you know what makes it worse?
What?
The choice of casting on everything here. I mean, you do mention everything that they did for it accidental, but the casting choice is what makes it worse. I mean, George Clooney, I like the actor. He's a really good actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
But as Batman, well, it's one of those things where when you watch the movie, you have a hard time trying to find Batman. You just keep seeing George Clooney.
Yeah.
Especially even when he goes, "Hi, Vice."
I always kind of use this as an example of how, like, sometimes it's not necessarily casting the biggest name actor for the role that matters. It's casting who fits with the role the most. Because, I mean, if you look at all the actors who've played Batman over the years, George Clooney really is the biggest name out of all of them. Let's be honest about this. I mean, he's the most decorated. He's the most star-studded. He has all these awards and accomplishments throughout his career.
Yeah.
So he is the biggest name that's ever played Batman for sure. Mm-hmm. He was not right for the role, though. That was the problem.
Yeah. Well, here's a positive note. Even George Clooney will agree, actually.
Oh, yeah. I still remember the Academy Awards in 2005, Good Night and Good Luck. Or I can't remember if it was Good Night and Good Luck. He won some award. I think it was Best Supporting Actor that year.
I think it was for the other film, Sierra, or whatever it's called.
And, literally, the first thing he said in his acceptance speech was... Oh man, I went from Batman to this, or something along those lines.
Batman died today in a freak accident of a. Unless we all did the same role, everybody put on a bat suit. We'll all try that.
Just had to. Just beat that dead corpse, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because you have to. You freaking have to.
Oh yeah. Oh. Even Tilda Swinton did the same thing when she won supporting actress for Michael Clayton.
Yeah.
And mentioning, giving tribute to George Clooney, and even mentions, the one with Batman you were in with the bat nipples and stuff. Even she had to mention it just to make him feel a little bit.
Yeah. And, I think it actually does kind of speak to how talented George Clooney is.
Yeah.
That he can rise up and accomplish so much after a movie like this. It's like reverse Halle Berry, where Halle Berry won an award, and then she went on to do freaking things like Catwoman.
Oh, yeah.
George Clooney didn't go down that road, fortunately.
Yeah.
But, honestly, George Clooney, I think, could have been a good choice. Because, like, even in the scenes where he's, like, talking with Alfred, I even mentioned this. I mean, those scenes are actually acted pretty decently. I do buy it. It's just whenever he's in the suit that things go wrong because... He's required to say all these stupid puns that go along with that theme of capturing that comedic essence. He has such bad writing to have to combat from the way he's written to the way every other character is written, from Arnold to Uma Thurman to Chris O'Donnell. I mean, they're all written so bad, and he has to bounce off of that, and none of it works when he's Batman.
Yeah. It's interesting you mention. It's interesting you mention also George Clooney is the only actor in this film where he has more redeeming qualities later in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, The rest of the whole cast, if you think about it more, Uma Thurman, besides
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill,
Yeah.
that was one of the, but I don't see her in anything else.
Yeah,
Really.
she's.
Or-
I hate to say it, I
Yeah.
can't think of anything Uma Thurman has done
Yeah.
outside of Tarantino movies that's
Yeah.
actually worth watching.
yeah, Chris O'Donnell.
Actually,
no.
now that I think about it, Uma Thurman did do another movie that same
Yeah.
year as Batman and Robin called Gattaca.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that was pretty good. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I can't think of anything.
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
O'Donnell, who the hell is that guy anyway?
Yeah, I think he was only one. He was known in as a support in one role in I can't remember what the film was called, but it had Gene Hackman in it. But that was one of the few movies that he was well known for, and he actually gave a good performance in. And I think he was in a TV show as well. But Batman and Robin, I think, was one of those movies where you're like, wow. Where did this kid come from? Where did he go to acting school? Really?
yeah.
Yeah, you have a hard time taking him seriously. Where I'm not sure if you want to cast him anywhere in any movie and take him seriously.
And of course, we have Arnold.
Arnold, yeah. Here's the thing about Arnie. I enjoy seeing him in action movies.
Yeah.
Terminator is one of my favorites. I like him in Predator, Commando, Conan. He's really good in action movies. Just to get these cool, fun movies. But
Yeah, and he can be good in comedies too.
Yeah. But you try putting him in a dramatic role or anything, but you can't take him seriously as most things. Yeah, like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. If you try casting him in Gone with the Wind, he'd be a terrible choice, and the whole movie would be terrible.
Yeah.
That's a kind of an example I would put. Like, you can't take him
Yeah,
seriously.
but Arnold, to his credit, I give him a lot of credit with his performance in this movie. He goes all the way with it, man. He doesn't like stop halfway. I mean, he goes full force with the insanity.
Yeah.
And when people talk about how this movie is so bad it's good, Arnold is the number one reason for that. Bottom line, it's always comes down to Arnold because it's just that special magnetism, that aura he has, where like he's so bad, but you cannot take your eyes off of the guy. And people talk about how everything he says in this movie is just a ice or snow or cold pun, and it's not an exaggeration. Literally everything he says has something to do with that.
The Iceman cometh. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Stay cool, bird boy. Chill. Cool party. Icy graveyard. Hell breathes over. Let's kick some ice.
I can quote Arnold in this movie all day,
yeah.
man. He's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has to be mentioned. I don't know who it was that played Bane, but Bane, according to from what I heard from other reviews, he's a big bloated green veiny pickle all jacked up on steroids. I will admit, actually, Tom Hardy does a better job as Bane in The Dark Knight Rises.
I mean,
no doubt.
Tom Hardy sounds like Darth Vader doing all those like Russian impressions I've heard a million times.
Yeah.
But goddamn, it's better than whoever this guy was. It's freaking. Oh my god. So Bane, again, my memory's pretty vague because it's been a long time since I've read any kind of Batman comic. But as I understand it, Bane is, despite being super jacked up and like all roided out and everything, he is a very smart, intelligent, well-spoken guy, which I did get in The Dark Knight Rises, to be fair.
Yeah.
This guy is just a simpleton who's like, bomb, 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 break. Very good, Bane. Now, tell me, which one of these is a boat?
Oh yeah. Nothing more than just a sidekick character for the villains in the
Yeah, and speaking of villains, like Poison Ivy, what Does she even have a motivation? Like, it was so hard to pinpoint exactly what it is she's trying to do with Mr. Freeze and everything she's trying to do. Like, okay, is she trying to kill Batman? Is she trying to destroy the world? Is she trying to resurrect plant life? What?
Yeah. Well, I got the
I
got the idea where she wants to make Earth all about life and probably sees humans as, you know, the one that's destructing life. I'm like, okay, so there's a little bit of environmentalism, wackoness, but still, it's like, yeah, but I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah.
I don't think I buy that. That's just too, I don't know, out of nowhere and just thrown into the story of Batman, where I'm like, really?
Yeah, I mean, adding Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy and Bane and Batgirl all into the mix, I mean, that should be awesome, but not the way they do it. The way they do it is god-awful.
Yeah.
And Uma Thurman, my God, her performance in this movie, oh my Lord.
Over the top and gave her really bad dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, okay, people will talk about Mr. Freeze and Arnold being over the top. I mean, Uma Thurman just takes it to a whole other level. I don't even know if you could find the right words to describe her in this movie. I forgot how just bad she was in this. Like, at so many moments, it looks like she's just looking off screen, like trying to find her cue cards because she can't remember what she needs to say. Yeah. And then she says, and they're like, oh God, I wish you just would have forgotten your lines and so you wouldn't say anything. And the moment that just almost did me in was when like Batman has her down on the ground and what did she say?
I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's why every Poison Ivy action figure comes complete with him.
Bane.
Jeez.
It comes out of nowhere, too.
That was a moment. I completely forgot about that line and that scene, and I saw it, and it was like, it physically pained me just seeing that and hearing that and realizing this movie, the whole reason this movie was made was to sell toys. That's all it was. It was a big marketing machine to sell toys.
And that one part proves it all.
Yeah, just like the Wizard back in 1989 selling Nintendo. This is meant to sell Batman and Robin toys.
Yep.
Fuck. Product placement at its absolute worst.
Yeah.
Even worse than Mark Wahlberg holding up a Bud Light and Transformers. My God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about the director, Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher. I mean...
here's where we could give them at least credit. He at least apologized. There's even an interview with him.
I saw that interview. You know, it's funny because I mean, you know, like a lot of the really great directors out there seem to be just not really nice people to be around a lot of times. I mean, you know, you always hear about like those stories of, like Kubrick and Hitchcock, how they were really cold and terrible people to be around and were like really mean and fucked up and crazy. But then you hear about people like Joel Schumacher who are clearly nowhere near as talented, but I mean they seem like really genuinely nice people. So and I think it's cool that Joel Schumacher apologized for it, and you know I get it. I get what he's trying to do. You know, he just wanted to make a lighthearted, fun little kids movie with a bit of comedic edge.
PG-13 rating though added to it.
And granted, he almost killed superhero movies for a while.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Besides this, a lot of the movies he's made, I mean, I've seen some of them. They're not very good.
Yeah,
again,
I've seen Tigerland.
Yeah, I've seen Phone Booth. Not a great movie, but I do enjoy it.
See, he did make this one movie called Falling Down back in 1993. Have you seen that? Michael Douglas?
I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah.
I haven't planned to.
Yeah, my roommate James, that's actually like his favorite movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie too. I like that. So Joel Schumacher, he's a guy who has talent. You just need to like be able to like restrain him, I think. You just need to like be able to tell him like, no, this idea sucks. Let's try changing it a little bit.
Yeah. You ever seen Phantom of the Opera, the 2004 film?
I did, long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about it, though.
Oh,
Aside
yeah.
from Gerald Butler's
Yeah.
terrible singing.
Yeah, visually, the movie's really good. Story-wise, it's a little like lacking.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies he's made where it's at least decent. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Phone Booth better, though. But yeah, it's another one of those films where example where you do kind of see that he tends to hit and miss a little bit. That it's just But Batman and Robin. One of his worst, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking when he was,
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was thinking when he came up with the Bat credit card.
Oh, I love that part every time.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about the Bat credit card that has been said already? I mean, Nostalgia Critic pretty much got that one down to the T.
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, he goes to conventions, people still present the Bat credit card, and he still goes into his big tirade.
$7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
A Bat credit card! You know, yeah. So, and yeah, that was pretty much the moment. It's like, yep, this movie's dead. I mean, it may have been bad up to that point, but that was the moment. It's like, this franchise is dead. There's no recovery from this.
Yeah. I still make jokes where I bring up that credit card, and here's where it makes it worse. I go, but Batman never leaves the cave without it.
God damn it, Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you notice in the detail also in the credit card, it says it's forever. Reminds me, like, expiration date, meaning forever.
Oh, yeah.
And it also reminds me of the movie Batman Forever. Which is not a great movie either, but better than this piece of crap movie.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to mention about this movie?
I can't think of any right now.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I will say, well, sure, production design good.
Yeah.
But the style of certain things, like certain editing, terrible. Like, for example, the reuse of a shot that he used of Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy in his thing, where he shows, I didn't kill your wife. And then it shows that same shot that was used as I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug. This is a one-woman show. I'm like, well, first of all, even Cinema Sins covers this too. They say, get out, Batman. You totally did not record this. And it was not at that same angle from the camera's point of view. And if you notice, you were too busy trying to escape from those vines earlier. So it's one of those things where, like, well, we already knew the movie was dead after the credit card. But this is where it goes way too far. Like, whoa, we're way down under the dirt of somebody dead right now in the grave. I'm like, how far can we go now? This is too much.
Yeah, I don't think we need to list any more reasons why this movie sucks ass. I mean, everybody already knows why. But what I do want to stress more than anything is that it's not one of the worst movies ever made, people. Maybe a top 50 or something, but certainly not like one of the all-time worst. It at least has that element of being hilarious.
Yeah.
So
one more I will also mention, though, is you mentioned they were going to make a fifth one afterwards. Batman Triumphs, but that didn't happen.
Batman Triumphant.
Yeah, and they're going to have Scarecrow in it,
Yeah,
too.
he's going to be played by, like, Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And then there was some talk after that they were going to do Batman versus Superman, but we didn't get that until last year.
Yeah, that movie wasn't any better.
Yeah, and actually a really shocking statistic about that movie is that its second weekend, only 63% of its audience went back to watch Batman versus Superman in its second weekend. Batman and Robin... I think it was no. Wait, I'm sorry. Batman versus Superman dropped down 68% in its second weekend. Batman and Robin dropped down only 63% in its second weekend. So technically speaking, that means more people went back to watch Batman and Robin than they did Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Wow.
That has to be saying something.
Yeah, and for the record,
Yeah.
no, I'm not saying Batman v Superman
Yeah,
is worse.
yeah.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just bringing that up.
Yeah, it's just interesting. But at the same time, you could put it as, well, some people's intelligence are being insulted. Then or
Yeah.
something. But one way or another, both those movies aren't very good.
Yeah.
In
but
general.
Batman and Robin is definitely the
Yeah.
worst.
But
Definitely the worst.
But a lot of critics will say this. One thing this movie will give credit for is if it hadn't been for this trash movie that really disappointed and upsetted Batman fans, we would have not gotten, years later, in 2005, Batman Begins.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
The Dark Knight and Dark
Yeah.
Knight Rises, which is a way better trilogy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to go through the really bad stuff, and let your voices be known how much you hate it, so that way Hollywood will learn and do
Yeah.
better. And that's pretty much what happened. And now we're living in this whole superhero boom now, after it was supposedly
right.
dead after
Yeah.
this movie. Of course, I'm really sick of superhero movies now, but
Same here,
nonetheless, I mean, it proved to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, all's forgiven in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can look back on it. It's like, you know what, Joel Schumacher, you're forgiven. You're forgiven.
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
But I will not forgive you for putting me through this miserable experience. That was terrible to sit through, Terry.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're not the first. I did this to a former college roommate at the time. Except, here's what's good though. At least you weren't kicking, screaming, or whining about it. Unlike he was. He kept talking and talking through the whole movie, pointing things out. He was just being, especially when it got to the back credit card part. He fell on the ground. The movie was at a pause right now because he was just having a fit. And he's like, no, the back credit card. Batman doesn't get a effing back credit card. And then my other roommate just responds to it, makes it worse by telling him, dude, take a chill pill. Yeah, makes it worse. But,
So,
yeah.
I think that's all I got.
I
don't
can't
wanna
think
say
of anything
anymore.
else.
So that was our review of Batman and Robin. Gotta say, this whole experience wasn't actually as painful as I'm making it out to be.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it with you, Terry, and
Yeah.
I especially enjoyed doing this review with you.
Sure,
I hope we can do it more in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll review much better movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love that. And I plan on making my own web series in the future. So,
Alright,
yeah,
sweet.
when I
Yep.
get the chance.
I'll put a link to his channel down in the description if any of you want to check it out. With all that being said, I'm Kogan Spory,
And this is Terry Lundy.
and thanks for watching our review of Batman and Robin. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got something to destroy here.
Yep. Stay cool, bird boy.